Hello and welcome to the Car Guy Coffee Podcast. This Interbrew at DriveCentric's DC20 has been brought to you by our friends and partners at MXS Solutions, Fixed Ops Digital, M1 Data and Analytics, 321 Ignition, Shop Smart Autos, and BinQ. If you want more brews or you want to find out how to partner with the Car Guy Coffee Podcast, go to carguycoffee.com. Let's brew! What's going on, Car Gals? It's Lou Ramirez, the Car Guy.
It's Fred Leonard, subprime hero.
And we are brewing solutions on the Car Guy Coffee Podcast in St. Louis at the DriveCentric headquarters with the one,
the only, Dale Acelar. That's right.
What's up, brother, buddy?
How you
So
doing?
good to
Thanks,
have you.
guys, for having me on the show.
Oh, man, I'm excited. We got a chance to really hang out with you yesterday, get to know you a little bit. And he's been so busy running around doing different things. We wanted to get him on yesterday. Busy guy. A lot of education going through yesterday. I know he was busy doing that today. He was a speaker. Plus, he was in here doing these breakout sessions, educating and empowering these dealers out here, sharing what he knows. He worked for a huge auto group. I think you may have heard of them. I think they're like everywhere, all across this country. You all should know them
We
pretty
are the
well.
number one automotive retailer right now.
They're in your driveway. What's the statement?
Driveway, but driveway is the sub company.
That's what it is. And Latia's huge. That's publicly traded, right?
Yeah, publicly traded.
Wow.
NYSE LAD.
Wow, that's huge.
Yep.
But doing big things. You came out here because you guys use DriveCentric, and it's something that you're interested in. But also, you came here to help other dealers see how you're a power user using DriveCentric. And so congratulations on that for being a power user. One thing I also want to bring up is he's like a superstar, y'all. He was on MTV, Nickelodeon. He hosted a lot of things. MTV The Grind. Y'all remember that show? Let's go. I'm being serious. He took his talents and he brought it to automotive, which I'm glad you did. I think that we need a lot of people just like you. I love that. It inspires me to see that. I'm like, man, it's so great. But more importantly, it doesn't matter what culture he's Filipino. I love that. It's like in my DNA too. I'm not Filipino, but it's in my blood because I have family all over it. So I feel like we're family already.
Yep, same.
We've been feeling like that since the moment we started talking, brother. And I'm glad to have you on the show. Welcome to Car Guy.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here.
So it's exciting to have you on. So knowing that there's so much that you are brewing for the industry, so many different lessons that you've learned outside of automotive that you implement inside of automotive now. What has been some of the fun that you've been able to have making connections with people when it comes to letting them see the potential of the tools that they have, specifically with DriveCentric? How much fun is that to open up eyes?
I worked in two separate dealerships. That was the blessing and the curse. So I worked with Lithium Motors, right? This will be my 11th year. But I worked at Mercedes-Benz of Portland, went to Mercedes-Benz of Beaverton, and now I'm back at Mercedes-Benz of Portland, which I'm really excited about working with. They both are on DriveCentric, and we started DriveCentric about 3 years ago. And when we did it, of course, the transition was very difficult to do. But what we realized, and I'm a video guy, obviously, that I've been on TV and movies for so long, that I've been doing video since 2013. And when DriveCentric has the capabilities of doing video inside their system, I was able to actually train our team to go, hey, we need to sell it, especially in the middle where COVID was happening. And COVID allowed us to open up the doors of communication via video. And we talked about this a couple of days ago, is that everything fast-tracked, technology fast-tracked because of the pandemic. And unfortunately, it was a bad scenario that turned into now we're in so much faster in our technology movement, moving from how we are communicating digitally and mainly how we've actually now opened the doors of doing Zoom calls. Now Zoom calls and communication via videos. And videos are a big deal, and communicating is a big deal, and AI is a big deal. But one thing that I've been teaching and been really proud about is that we have this process called the last word process. And the last word process, what that does is that it allows our sales team to communicate last to the customer on a minute by minute basis. Our job is to make sure that the customer is heard and they get their questions answered immediately. And that's the hardest part when we're in sales, because we can have 20 different customers at once, but one person wants to buy and the other 9 are neglected. So we have to always continuously pay attention to every single conversation that we have in our queue.
Put that in your cup and sip on that. And that is truth right there. And
that is hard to do, but
it is. But you know what? When you have the process and it is accounted for and people are understanding and are seeing the results from that, it's massive. I want low-hanging fruit. I want to sell the ones too, but I also want to make sure that as a owner, as a business leader, as a sales manager, general sales manager, general manager, that my staff is taking care of every lead we provide them. I don't want them to just touch it. I'm not ready today. And then they forget about it. No, I want them to make sure that they follow up with that person, that they show them love. They send them a video thanking them for their time. With tools that we have from DriveCentric, tools that we have from all these different educators teaching us things, it's silly for us not to use it. It's weird. I don't understand why people are like, oh, I don't want to take the extra step for my customer. You would want that extra step. Think about it. If you're sitting in the seat of a customer, you're going to be like, man, if somebody did that for me, not only would I love it, but I feel a little bit more obligated to do business with them, right? Because they're going the extra mile. So I'm going to go the extra mile. I'm going to at least give them the first shot. I'm going to at least go in there and try to negotiate a deal that I think will work out because this person's working hard for me.
Hey, dealers, Car Guy Coffee Podcast and Certified Solutionaries are honored to be part of Team VinQ.
The solutions they've been brewing for you to acquire more vehicles, advertise merchandise, and manage those vehicles has made them one of the most sought-after dealer partners in the market. They are 100% CGC approved.
And when you visit them at VinQ.com,
you'll see a whole hill of beans worth of reasons why.
Team VinQ, let's brew!
And video brings that out. You could send voice messages, you could send text messages, you could do all these things. Everybody's doing that. Very few are doing video still. And it's something that if you jump in now, you could be the first. Your dealership could be the one that's flagshipping it in your community. Guess what happens? Everybody starts going to your store. Everybody starts talking about your store. Everybody wants to work at your store. It's a big chain of events that happens by just changing one little thing.
You know, what's really crazy is that in the past month, I have been doing test leads. And I apologize if I send a test lead directly to you. But I did test leads because I wanted to see in true real time what is the responses of all these salespeople that are working right now. Now, I'm also a unique person because I have VIP clients that are in the Bs that really want to buy a specific car, but they don't have the time and effort to actually buy that car. So what I do is I actually contact our internal side of the dealership and external. Now, I don't judge the internal side because then it's just how Lithia is, but I wanted to see how everybody else operates in the world of either Toyota or Mercedes or even even in Ford truck kind of country. And I realized that one of the biggest things that let's say I send a message to 20 dealerships, the fastest one and the one who connects with the video is the one I respond to the first. And it's because they are engaging with me in some way, some form. And I've noticed that anytime I ask a question, they answer immediately. And they're my forefront and number one person that I want to get to talk to. Now, the other 19 or the other 18 that I didn't talk to, they still haven't contacted me. And I'm a car deal. And I'm a car deal.
Man, I'm telling you, wow.
How much are we losing just because we are too busy at the dealership or we're not paying attention to the people that are in front of you? Now, I'm saying this on a buyer standpoint. Now, I'm lucky that throughout my 11 years, I have met very influential, high net worth individuals who can buy a jet plane and very expensive cars, but yet wants to buy something as a Toyota Sequoia or even a Ford Bronco, something a little bit different, but they don't want to stand out. But they still want to buy it, but they don't have the time because they're high net worth individuals that want to call a dealership and try to find one. Now, I'm that buyer representing them.
Sure.
Through Lithia, trying to do that. Now I'm trying to contact that dealership, and that dealership is not communicating to me. And I know they have the product, but yet they don't have no form of let's try to do something type of deal. It's such a waste because if I know that there's only a small portion, let's say, I would say less than 10% of the many dealerships that exist out there that's communicating that way, you're losing the ability. And I'm just one person.
Right.
One person. And then everybody else that is still searching for cars continuously on a daily basis. Somebody's car broke down yesterday. Somebody got into an accident today.
Oh, yeah.
They're looking for cars and we're not engaging with them. And especially, let's just say, on the way here, there was an accident. I'm sure maybe it could be totaled or maybe it's not. But either way, they're looking for a car. And if they're trying to find a car immediately because they need to go from point A to point B and they found one today and we're not communicating today, they're going to move on to the next. Sense of urgency, communication, the personal side. We have AI that does the basic side to it, but massively, we have to communicate as a sales team or we're just going to lose business.
Oh, you're bringing some great stuff here. I love this. You are speaking my language. Yes and yes. And I couldn't agree more. It's super important to be at the pace and set the pace for the customer. When they see somebody who's hungry and aggressive, but yet excited to help them, right?
Yes.
Giving them the information that they're asking for and doing it at a time that they need it. Like you said, if they need a car today, they're not going to wait till tomorrow. We got to give it to them right now. I don't care how busy you are. Have AI helps with that. If not, pass on team. But it's important that we see those things. Having a CRM as a leader, my salesperson is working extremely hard. They got 2 deals working right now. They have an up that can show up in 30 minutes. They're messaging us, hey, can I come in? And they can't respond to it. I want to go in there myself and be able to say, hey, yeah, no problem.
The impersonation.
Right. That is huge. Being able to act as if you are that salesperson for them so that the customer doesn't feel like that they're being neglected. And you can see that as a leader or anybody else that's in there that happens to manage that type of information in there, because you can set up different levels of leadership inside there, who's in charge, who can actually look at where the leads are going and actually move where the leads are going, cancel leads, whatever. There's so many different things we could do inside the system, but it's tailored for you. But more importantly, we need to make sure, like he's talking about, that they're getting talked to immediately. The worst thing in the world is to have somebody that needs your help and actually will buy from you right now, but you don't talk to them. And then and it doesn't happen until the next day because it just got left there. And then the next day you call them and they're like, I went up the street and bought from there. I'm sorry, I needed a car yesterday.
Hey dealers, franchise and independent, we have some great news for you and your number one sales pro.
Your website. Partner with Team MXS, we have the ability to pull you out of that cookie cutter merry-go-round and help your website embody what it means
To do business with you. From the highest quality production to the most strategic optimization, we want to help you connect better to the ever-changing market.
We owe it to you and your team to at least let us do a quick
And free.
checkup on your website. We can't wait to hear from you.
Go to teammxs.com. Back to the show.
One of our breakout sessions that we did is that we were looking at some of the dealerships that were actually have strong communication. There was one that was 22 hours, and it's the small details that's within the communication. So the salesperson was communicating, the customer was communicating, and then the customer finally writes down, you know what, I found a car at X dealership, thank you so much. Now I broke it down going, what does found mean? Doesn't mean they bought and they found. Doesn't mean that they gave up.
Bingo.
But we have to keep looking at it. And most managers, what they do is it's just a little word. So by the example, and it was my very first session, by the example, I said, okay, is this a found car or is it a bought car? And I said, which dealership? And they pointed it out and said, what are we going to say here? Then I'll engage. So they engage going, is it certified? The other dealership cannot sell certified. So they jumped in and they were able to sell certified. Now the conversation's ongoing now. Now, I obviously don't know what the outcome will be, but I honestly do know that if you don't pay attention to the small details of what the customer does say, us personally say, we have to dissect what they are saying to us so we can make that deal for them. And it has to be not generalization. You can't just say, okay, I bought a car, thank you very much. You can go beyond that going, okay, you bought a car, did you buy it yet? Can I beat that deal? Right. Or you bought the car, you're driving away with it, hey, you have any referrals? You continuously keep going so your business keeps going.
I love that.
I mean, in our side, we don't make money or we don't increase our business if we don't sell. And I don't care what industry you are. Real estate, car sales, even selling, sales and sales, you have to communicate. And the number one thing that beats everything about this is customer service. This is customer service. It's customer service in its own detail. It's paying attention to the customer and making sure the customer is extremely heard. And I say extremely heard, listening to every emotion that they said or by either their voice or their text or their email. You have to pay attention to every one of them. And once you do, and they know that you listen, they know that you care. Caring turns into empathy. Empathy turns into a sale.
Right.
Wow, that's service. That's how you want service to flow. I mean,
but that's called relationships.
That's relationships, and that's what I'm saying. Like I said, I've been blessed in so many different parts that I don't think, and I can say this in a level of confidence, arrogancy, is that I know for a fact that I'm a good salesman, amazing salesperson. Okay, but I also believe in the part that I'm true when I say to them, going, this is not the car for you, even though I would lose the sale, because I know for a fact that I can truly tell them that because I know it's right. And it's the way that I feel personally. Now, maybe they won't buy that car today, but I know for a fact they'll come back in about a month or two. Hey, my brother needs a car.
Amen.
Because it shows that turns that customer service side into now you are a friend. Now it's a relationship. Now it moves on. Right. And what we've trained and what we've talked to salespeople to do is that these are individual people that you have a relationship. Now, if this is your business and this is your job that you want to do for the rest of your life, you do it.
That's
you continuously push it. And then most of them, I've said many times, nobody grows up and says, hey, I want to be a car salesman when I grow up, or a car person when I grow up. It's either you're into it, push into it, or you fall into it.
Yeah.
I'll wait. I have a quick story and then I'll move on to the dump. So,
I love it.
Okay.
Come on.
When I came back from the Philippines, I bought a bar. And then when I had the bar, I grew up in the Mercedes-Benz world. In other words, when I was 10 and 11, I had 2 dogs. One was Sadie, the other one was Benz. When I was 16, I got my dad's car, which was a 450 SEL.
Okay.
When I graduated high school, I got a Mercedes. Then I went to the Philippines and I was in a Mercedes. When I came back, I got the bar. Facebook did something with Mercedes and said, hey, tell us about your history with Mercedes-Benz and we'll give you some money and a car. And I was like, okay. So one night after work, I did a quick video. It's on YouTube, actually. And I won it. And I picked it up at the dealership. And the GM at that time said, hey, you should work here. And I was like, no, I don't want to be a salesperson. I don't want to be a car salesperson. I'm like, and I'm still arrogant in the parking lot. You know what I used to do? I do this. And then it just led me back in there because then I bought a service contract, which I'm an advocate of service contracts. So of course I should use that. The service contract, because it was really hot outside. The AC went down on my Mercedes. I went back there. And then of course the service advisor said, hey, you should work here. Then the sales manager said, you should work here. And I'm like, oh, this must be a calling. So I applied, got the job. The GM who hired me got fired. They put a new GM in. And the GM said, hey, we're going to put you on the floor. And I was like, I can't do this. And then 3 days later, honest to God, guy comes in, tell me about this car. In passion, I told him everything I knew about the car. And he bought the car from me. And I can tell you from that day forward, I knew that the way that you car sales is not just because of a book of training and how you do it. It's personal relationships. It's passion and how you carry yourself with your position. And I'm proud of what I do. And that's why I hear all the time car sales people are sleazy. I'm like, you make it sleazy. You turn into the sleazy person.
That's it.
And how do you turn into a sleazy person? By not being truthful, not being transparent, not being the person that you would be treated to, the golden rule to be true. Right? So if you're buying something and you see a dent or they see a dent, you have to find a way to make sure you make that customer happy or don't sell. The car sale, the car deal doesn't have to go through. You can find a way to work around it.
Well, and that's the thing. Like I love you talk about dent. Mercedes world, they don't want them. There's no doubt. They're going to want that repaired. But in most worlds, it's not covering it up by standing in front of it. It's by letting it be there. Hey, listen, there is a dent. But at the end of the day, we price these vehicles accordingly the way they come in conditioned. So we are able to give you and pass on the discounts to you. We also pay for them that way. If you want us to repair it, the price of the vehicle does have to go up because the cost of the vehicle is going up. It's up to you. Which would you prefer to do? Now, that's sometimes the customers, okay, great. That's transparent. That's truth. It's honest. That's not some rigmarole of bullcrap that people give them, right? By hiding in front of it, trying to make sure that they don't see it. And I want them to see. I would actually point that out. That's actually a feature.
Is that right?
This is part of the inconvenience package. We don't charge extra for this. That's free, right? You have fun with the customer and you let them know that you're there to help them. And the reason why it does have this, because one, it is pre-owned, but two, it's savings. If there was nothing, no scratches on it, you would pay a higher premium for this vehicle because that we would have to. We would pay a higher premium for it. But this is a perfect vehicle to help you get established or help you get from A to B. You say you just need a car to get to work. Whatever it is, that's how you do it.
We know you're enjoying the show so far. We just wanted to quickly remind you about our partners at
Fixed Ops Digital
and how they are automotive's premier service marketing and technology company.
Not only proud sponsors of the Car Guy Coffee podcast, but they also serve as your dedicated point of contact for all your online service marketing related needs.
Servicing dealerships throughout the U.S. and Canada, the mission is to create a better online experience for your service customers while using data intelligence to drive more fixed operations revenue.
If you want to take your service marketing efforts to the next level, go to fixopsdigital.com.
Back to the show.
Let's go. I love what you're talking about here, Dale. Seriously, you're speaking our language. Obviously, there's a reason why we connected. It's not just because we look alike. We're cool like that.
I think that we should go beyond just a car sale. I think that it's beyond a transaction, right? Because if you think of it just as a transaction that you just sell the car and you move on, you're missing the grandest point of this whole thing is that you can create a book of business and make this a career that lasts you a long time because it carries us forever. I love the car business because I think even in this environment, I love that I can speak a language that people understand. And if I stepped outside of this network and go to a different one and speak the same way, people look at me as I'm speaking gibberish. If somebody said PDI, what is PDI? And what's UVI? And then what's the ACV of that car? Certain people don't understand that unless you're in the business. And which is really good for us because then I can talk to a salesperson And the salesperson is right in front of me, customer's right there, and I talk to him exactly how I know, hey, we should allow this one. We have this is our ACV, and make sure we go through UBI first. And the customer goes, I have no idea what was just said.
Yep.
But
well, all
they
that
know,
was great for you.
Yeah, it was great for you. We're taking care of you.
But it's just inside of that you're taking care of me.
Yes.
You're taking care of me. I can trust that you're taking care of me. And that's relationship. And anytime that we are fusing together and understanding, that does trump our revenue. That if we keep our relationship over revenue, we are consistently merging together the things that keep business going. Because without people taking care of people, business doesn't keep happening. And what we've been trying to preach to anybody that would listen in the auto industry is that if we lose our customers, it's because we lose our people inside of the store. And if we lose our people inside of the store, our customers are not hinged to us the way that they would be if we don't connect all of the dots that have us completely sold out on my leader wants what's best for me. This environment wants what's best for me. And inherently, because we want what's best for each other, the customer falls into that environment that knows this place wants what's best for me. They're setting me up for success. Whatever tool they got to do, I trust them. They got me. I'm following. I'm going to get my coffee. You tell me when my car's ready. I'm going to go get my coffee. You tell me when my paperwork's ready. I'm going to go check on this over there. And, and they have the relationships within the building, within the network, because the dealership is a pivotal piece of the community.
Which is really, I think that even outside of the United States, it doesn't have the same culture. The automotive side, it's part of the American way. And I can tell you right now, it is the smell. I'm an electric car user, just so we're clear, but the smell of gasoline and leather in a Mustang is just by itself as an American.
That's so American. That's Americana.
American, right? But even then, you still have that. It's part of every part of this country. We all are. Everybody buys a car some way, somehow. Everybody does something. It is part of. It's part of our culture in the United States. And so I think that no matter what, the auto industry will still be there, no matter what type of car, electric or gas, it'll still be existing.
Amen to that.
And we still have to create a new way of doing things because the old way does not work anymore. The transparency, the reviews, the way that we communicate with people, and the way that we become a successful dealership and department and salesperson and manager is because we are truthful and transparent to our customer, which then again comes back to the basic thing: is referral and book of business.
Bingo.
And you have to be flexible inside of that, pliable, adjustable, because the customers. So long inside of our business, the customer had to really adapt to us.
Yes.
Until we got told you can't sell them the way that you were used to. That's not going to work anymore. And then we had to adapt to the customer, which was a part of our light speed run towards adopting the technology that most people have been ignoring until they had to use it, until it became a must. And then when it became a must, now all of our customers understand they can buy a different way. They can buy their way. And one way or another, we all know they're going to buy. And if they're going to find a way to buy, they have to find somebody to trust to do so, to help them go through that process.
And let me bring that kind of right back to circle home. Is the only way to really do that trust in a digital world is video, phone, and text and email. You have
to
full circle.
So you have to do all of
it. DriveCentric.com. Go check it out.
Go check them out. So real quick, just a little bit off subject because you are a little famous worldwide. So what was the very first commercial that you did do?
Quick question. Do you know what Smart Pixel 2.0, Location IQ, and Audience IQ have in common?
You know I do. They are solutions that our friends and proud sponsors, M1 Data and Analytics, are brewing for automotive and beyond.
Once again, you're right, my friend. And we want to invite all of our audience to go to m1-data.com to see how they can help propel your business forward with the right data insight.
Go check them out at m1-data.com.
Let's brew!
Come on now, back to the show.
So I did about 15 commercials in the Philippines, and I can name a bunch, even Wendy's, I did KFC. But the one that I really did was a Pepsi commercial in the Philippines. And then that actual commercial failed New York. And then the director said, hey, we have no more budget and we need you to do this commercial. It's a very low budget and it's a very simple script, but it only focuses on you. We already bought the airtime, but if we put it on there, you'll be well known. And I was like, my manager said, just do it. I'm like, you know what? I'll do it. I don't really care. To be honest with you, if I remember correctly, if you put the dollars together, it was like $20. $20. But it launched the career.
Heck yeah.
Yeah. It launched the career of what I did, and I did that for 15 years. I actually was able to. I then started on movies. I was on a TV sitcom, and then I think I did a total of about 15 movies, and I was on a daily show, like Monday through Saturday from 11 to 1 o'clock, and did everything that every single Filipino actor on TV did for a very long time until I don't know if this is the life for me, but I still kept on doing it. And I think the last leg of it was in 2006, where I had a TV show called Celebrity Single, and when it was 10 episodes of me trying to search for the love of my life, quote unquote.
Oh, dang.
And the first episode's on YouTube, which is really crazy.
I kind of want to see it.
But what turned into about halfway through the season was they didn't really care about me. What they cared about, how do other men and women communicate in single time. Now, this was a long time ago. I don't even know how to age myself, but 2006 was a long time ago. And in the Philippines, they didn't have dating apps yet, which I wish that I got into the idea of doing that.
Yeah, right.
But then they were like, how do you start with an opening line? How do you communicate? And how do you do that? And somehow everything turns back to what I do now. Every single thing that I've done has gotten to me where I am now.
That's so crazy. But it is. It's a beautiful skill. It built confidence inside you. It showed you a world that you could never imagine. It built a good taste of lifestyle that caused you to get into a business that can still suffice for that for you. And you were able to achieve that because when you do it once, you can do it again. Right. So it's a phenomenal story. I think it's great. You know, I really love that. I love the whole thing. I love everything about what you told me.
So I know the hardest part is that the difficult, which is oddities, that I've usually told this to maybe some people at the dealership, and somebody has brought it up, but just search my name, the first two names, Dale Villar, it'll come up.
No, literally, it's right there.
It'll come up. But one of the things that I do, and I'm going to share this with the people in the Philippines too, is that I do miss that business, and I do miss that culture of being there. It was really a very important part of my life, but it also was a stepping stone to where I am today.
And your brother, we're all still young enough to where you never know what the next
you never know. Never know.
That's what's so beautiful about the world today. Never count yourself out on that. And then never, because it is a stepping stone, but even this is a stepping stone to whatever's next. And I can't wait to see what's next with you, Dale. It's going to be amazing, brother. You're a shining star over here, not just because of what you've done in the past, but because of what you're doing right now. More importantly, brother, because right now what you're doing is amazing, and you're definitely showing the light to a lot of people, brother. So we appreciate you so much.
Thank you.
Seriously, such a good.
Awesome. So before we get out of here, we want to go ahead and make sure that you do get the chance to give the last word on this podcast on what it is that DriveCentric has actually done for your dealership.
Oh, okay. So in 2020, when we actually transitioned, the store that I was at was not a very profitable store.
Sure.
Then when we switched to DriveCentric, we then changed our processes to be actually customer centric. We focus directly on the customer, and DriveCentric allowed us to do that through our open conversations, through our text messaging, through our video. And it was a hard pull to bring our management team together, our salespeople together, and literally work together as a group to go, okay, now we focus on the customer. And we pay attention to every single conversation that comes in, and we communicate with them in every single way, sometimes by impersonation, and sometimes we just actually try to go directly to the deal, and sometimes we just go, hey, I'm the manager, let's come in for the appointment, let's test drive the car, and we just go straight to the point. That allowed us to launch into where we wanted the award for Best of the Best for Mercedes-Benz for that year, and we were the only dealership in the Pacific Northwest to win that, into a store that had a rotating 17 GMs and was losing year after year until that time. So I've said this multiple different times. DriveCentric is the point. I believe was the point. The team was the point. It was all of this coming together, but it ultimately came down to us paying attention to the customer. And that was a major part to our success. And DriveCentric really allowed us to do that.
Bingo! That's a big ups for DriveCentric right there. I'm telling you, and that's truth. And I believe that. I know that's what you're talking about here, and that's what he's preaching here as he's been speaking up here in front of all the crowd or educating and doing the breakouts. It's all about that, folks. Get to be customer-centric, and it'll change your life. And DriveCentric helps you get there in the digital world way faster, way easier, and at their pace. So get after it, y'all. www.drivecentric.com.
And just so you know, we are already just doing that on a personal level. Us tap back on messages, us communicating as with an emoji. We're already doing that personal last word.
Yeah.
The professional side, we neglect and forget about it.
Bingo.
And that's what makes this even way stronger, because that small little detail makes the sale.
Woo!
Wow.
Love it. Love it.
That's
Love it.
why
Love
it's
it.
so important to make those personal relationships
Correct.
turn into business relationships.
Yep.
Relationship, it's a relationship.
It is.
That's awesome, everybody. Well, we know what to do inside of any good relationship. We got to make sure that we drop F-bombs, okay? And that's to make sure that we do forgive, focus, and fly. And now that Dale has had the opportunity to brew some solutions with us, we want to make sure that we do send them off right with a little forgive, focus, and fly. So go ahead and get your hands on your shoulders with us real quick, and we're going to go forgive, focus, and fly on 3, loud and proud. 1, 2, 3.
Forgive, focus,
Focus,
fly, and keep growing, baby. Let's go.
That's right, everybody. So excited to be here in St. Louis. I am Lou Ramirez, the Car Guy.
And I'm Fred Leonard, subprime hero.
And we're doing solutions in the Car Guy Coffee Podcast with the one,
The only Dale Acelar.